Legion, and welcome to my channel. My name is Ludi, and today we're going to do our top 10 must-play nations in EU4 1.31 Leviathan. In this video, we'll be taking into account nations that received a ton of flavor in this update, as well as older nations that have received a revamped amount of flavor due to the new features added. Before we start the video, I would really appreciate it if you guys consider subscribing. Only a small percentage of you have subscribed to the channel, so if you do enjoy watching my videos once in a while, consider dropping that subscribe. And I promise to give you back only quality content. If we get 1,500 likes on this video, I'm also gonna do another video with certain leaked information about the next DLC coming to EU4. Before we start the video, I want to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Opera GX Browser, the world's first browser for gamers. Opera GX features the new GX control, which is tailored for gamers. GX control lets you enhance your PC performance whilst you have your browser open. Perfect for those moments when you want to keep a bunch of tabs open in the background whilst gaming. The panels let you limit CPU or RAM used by your browser. The network limiter limits the bandwidth used by the Opera GX so that you can maintain performance in games and streams. Compared to Google Chrome, Opera GX really excels in this field with way better values by comparison. GX Player lets you log into Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music directly from the sidebar of the Opera GX, so you have all your favorite streaming services in one place. Whenever you're streaming a video or audio in your browser tabs, Player automatically pauses and resumes once the tab is finished streaming. If you enjoy watching Twitch, you can just log into your account and get notified from the sidebar when a streamer you follow goes live. Another feature that I'm personally really happy with is the amount of special themes, wallpapers, and colors that you can choose from. I'm glad that Opera GX approached me with their product because it really helps me out a lot personally. As some of you guys might know, I don't have the best computer, so being able to manage the amount of CPU and RAM that my browser uses whilst I'm playing games or record helps out so much. I've left a link for you guys to download Opera GX below. It's absolutely free. Download it with that link and write a comment with the hashtag InstallGX. Tell me what your favorite feature is, and I promise to respond to all that use the hashtag. One OPM that you have to try in 1.31 is the nation of Ternate. Ternate starts off as one of the two nations at the very start with the trade good of cloves that was added in 1.31, and which is the richest, most expensive, and most sought after trade good in this update. Only 6 provinces in the entire world can potentially have these resources, with the other 4 uncolonized provinces having a 56% chance of spawning in cloves. Aside from the trade good, Ternate has its own unique mission tree that gives it claims on the entirety of the Indonesian archipelago, as well as unique missions which will make it colonize the Spice Islands without even having exploration ideas. Ternate has the standard Malaccan ideas that include production efficiency, goods produced, trade efficiency, legitimacy, 1 extra merchant, settler increase, light ship combat ability, and 1 extra diplomat. The extra diplomat, by the way, is extremely important in 1.31, as the new favorite curry mechanic will help out so much when dealing with other nations. If you are up for a challenging start, go ahead and try out Ternate. It definitely will be quite enjoyable and is on my list of must-play nations in 1.31 Leviathan. Making its way from the Japanese islands is the nation of Uesugi. Uesugi has a buttload of flavor in 1.31 with the addition of 3 monuments, one of them right in your city of Musashi, and this one can give you up to -20 general cost, war taxes -100%, prestige from battles plus 100%, as well as right next to you you have the Mount Fuji monument, which again gives out insane modifiers, and another one in Himeji. But why Uesugi and not any of the other nations in the Japanese islands? I'm glad you asked. Uesugi has a really great starting position. You can easily expand into the east, thus securing your position in the Japanese islands before you start taking over the rest of Japan and rebel against the Ashikaga shogun. As such, Uesugi is one of the easiest nations to be playing as in 1.31, and a nation that can become ridiculously overpowered due to the amount of monuments added in the Japanese islands, as well as due to its starting significantly stronger position compared to the other Japanese daimyos. So if you've tried before playing as Oda, Shimazu, and the others, go ahead and try out Uesugi. You're really going to enjoy this playthrough. Idea-wise, Uesugi also has some decent ideas with production efficiency, infantry combat ability, diplo relations, army tradition, morale of armies, discipline, and idea cost -10%. So even from the idea standpoint, they will not disappoint. A nation really well positioned in 1.31 Leviathan Leviathan is Naples. Naples, aside from the amazing starting national ideas that include trade efficiency, manpower, goods produced, tech cost, dev cost, morale of armies, as well as a sprinkle of prestige and legitimacy, and even a pretty decent mission tree, does have another ace up its sleeve: its geographical position. Placed in literally the middle of the Mediterranean, you have access to so many expansion paths, including into the islands that Aragon starts off with, as well as the North African continent, the Balkans, and even into Italy and Hispania. The best part about this is that you can dodge aggressive expansion between Sunni Muslims, Catholics, and Orthodox, as well as between the various culture groups around the Mediterranean, so you never need to cease your expansion. You also are positioned greatly to take advantage of the massive amounts of monuments around you, such as the Parthenon, the Hagia Sophia, St. Peter's Basilica, and even, if you're fast enough, the amazing monument of Alhambra and Ait Ben Haddou in Morocco. Playing Naples in 1.31 is definitely going to be ridiculously rewarding, and I highly recommend that everybody starts a brand new playthrough as this amazing nation. One of the most enjoyable experiences in 1.31 is playing Palembang. Palembang, on the first month of the game, will get an event that allows it to become a pirate nation. Click on A Pirate's Life for me and enjoy your amazing new playthrough as the pirate nation of Palembang, with snazzy pirate-like clothing as well, and with an amazing reform tree that gives you insane modifiers such as 50% naval force limit and the ability to raid the coastlines of everybody, including those nations with the same religion as you. Turns Palembang into one of the richest and most powerful and influential nations in this area. A real Leviathan with unique mechanics and a super great mission tree around the fact that you are a pirate. You actually get pirate missions, with the pirate thread being the latest one, and other mission rewards as you go along in your journey towards unifying Indonesia under the greater pirate flag. With quick access to 2 gold mines right next to you, one in Pontianak and another one in Pagaruyung, Palembang will never have any issues with money when you combine the gold mines together with the coastlines that you're going to be raiding. I know the main feature in Leviathan is the nation of Majapahit, but honestly, Palembang definitely deserves a spot up there with the top ones. Before we continue with the next nation on this list, I want to tell you guys that I'm doing daily streams over on Twitch. If you guys want to check me out, you can click the link in the description, hop on over there, say hi to me, and I'll say hi back, and you can enjoy watching me live playing most of the playthroughs that you see as guides over on YouTube. With all of the new additions to colonies to 1.31 as well as the monuments, I recommend you play Castile as one of your first nations in this new update. There's a couple of reasons for that. First off, you do have the monument in Granada, namely the Alhambra, that will give you admin efficiency and a few other amazing modifiers, including Liberty Desire and Subjects, as well as the other monument right next to you in Morocco that is easily attainable early in the game, and even the one in Lisbon should you wish to go for that. But more importantly, as Castile, you will start colonizing and taking great advantage of the 3 new colony types, which mix in extremely well with your starting mission tree and with the expanded version after you form the nation of Spain. Castile might be an obvious choice, but I honestly recommend it, especially for the newer players to 1.31 and to EU4 in general, to give this nation a try. Aside from being really powerful, it is also a really great nation to play as due to its amount of flavor that it offers. One playthrough in 1.31 Leviathan that will be insanely overpowered is that of the Timurids. A truly must-play nation, the Timurids is one of the few nations that can switch to Zoroastrian quite early in the game by converting the Zoroastrian province of Yazd and then switching over to your missionary maintenance to 0. As such, you're not actually converting, but you're pissing off the rebels, which means that you will eventually get Zoroastrian rebels spawning in, which in turn will start converting your nation. And by tagging over to the Zoroastrian faith, you can take advantage of the brand new monument in Shirvan, for which you need to be a Zoroastrian nation. And this monument offers +5 discipline discipline, land fire damage +5, land fire damage received -10%, as well as a small culture conversion cost. Aside from that monument, you have a few others such as the Buddha statues that you start off with, and even the Registan Square in your vassal Transoxiana, but do take note that both your vassal of Transoxiana as well as the other vassals of Khorasan, Fars, Afghanistan are going to be integrated in one day after 10 years have passed, since you have cores on all of these provinces. You have a super easy expansion into Ajam as well, since you have cores on the entirety of Ajam and their vassal Luristan, and can turn your playthrough in a really great world conquest playthrough by switching over to either the Mughal Empire, or if you want to, you can restore the Mongolian Empire. Timurids is definitely a great nation for beginners, even as long as you watch my guide on the Timurids, which explains how to best deal with your vassals being disloyal, and by turning Zoroastrian, you definitely will enjoy a unique Zoroastrian one faith should you wish to. Coming up next on our list is the nation of Ayutthaya. Ayutthaya starts off with a brand new revamp and a ton of flavor in 1.31 Leviathan. Aside from the really snazzy unit sprites that you get, you do also have an amazing mission tree that offers a huge amount of subjugation CBs on pretty much everybody around you. You start by getting one on Khmer from day one, followed up by more subjugation and permanent claims around everybody in the Burmese area, Southeast Asian, and even in parts of the Indonesian archipelago. Aside from that, you have a brand new amount of monuments, with one in the province of Bangkok itself that can offer up to 15 governing capacity on level 3, another one right next to you in Angkor that can offer tech cost reduction, 2 more in Pegu for that sweet Diplo rep and Diplo relations as well as advisor cost, and 1 in Dagon as well as 1 in Pagan. Now, besides all the amazing monuments and the really great mission tree, you can also eventually form the nation of Siam, which honestly has the best idea sets in the 1.31 update. Your starting situation is quite decent. You have a ruler who is also a Chad general and a great amount of soldiers that will make it quite easy in your war against Khmer to subjugate this once great empire. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and try out Ayutthaya. You will not regret it. Obviously, one of the centerpieces of 1.31 Leviathan is Majapahit. Majapahit starts off as a master of puppets, as you start with 4 different tributaries which you can turn into vassals via your own mission tree by enforcing loyalty upon them. Majapahit also starts off with a active disaster. After the 1st of December triggers, you also get -5 stability from this disaster, and getting rid of it is a part of your mission tree where you have to complete 3 separate missions before preventing the collapse, as such getting rid of the disaster, the fall of Majapahit. But after you get rid of that disaster, if you go down to the rest of the mission tree, you will eventually get CBs against the Chinese group at first and against the entire world. You can get the Majapahit campaign's Casus Belli, which turns this one horrible starting nation but amazingly playable nation after the first few years into a great superpower and one of the top choices as well for a world conquest. Aside from that, you start off with 2 temples in the province of Kotagede, Prambanan Temple as well as Borobudur, and you have another temple as part of your tributaries, namely the Purabasaki, which is honestly quite a decent temple. So if you are looking to play a new nation within the Southeast Asian Leviathan area, try Majapahit. You definitely will enjoy this playthrough. A nation that I personally have not played so much but I recommend that you do is Brandenburg. In 1.31, Brandenburg starts off with a really great amount of flavor due to the new curry favors mechanic that can really ensure its expansion within the HRE without much trouble from the Austrians or anybody else around. As you know, Brandenburg starts off with its own mission tree from previous updates, a mission tree that was updated in 1.31 Emperor and which offers a ton of flavor onto itself. But aside from that, playing as Brandenburg gives that feeling of accomplishment when you know you've unified Germany as the true German unifiers. It is said that if you do not unify Germany as Brandenburg, then you are not a Chad map gamer, so keep that into account. Brandenburgian ideas are extra spicy in 1.31 Leviathan with the extra construction cost, infantry combat ability, morale of armies, Diplo reputation, and after you form the beloved nation of Prussia, you will definitely start steamrolling. I do recommend in 1.31 that you start your expansion into Asia, so so that you get the nice monument that increases your governing capacity, so that you balance out the Prussian monarchy modifier that you'll have once you do form Prussia. At the end of the day, guys, we have to be honest to ourselves. Even though it's 1.31, we're still gonna be playing mostly in Europe, because it is Europa Universalis. Nothing says EU4 1.31 as much as Byzantium. That is correct. The nation that you likely was expecting to have on this list is, of course, Byzantium. The Byzantines, despite not getting any direct flavor, they did get a couple of monuments in 1.31 that include the Hagia Sophia, as well as the Athenian vassals monument of the Parthenon, both of which are quite decent. And after you've taken out the Ottomans, you can take their mausoleum of Halicarnassus for yourself, thus getting the extra tech cost reduction and institution spread and embracement reductions. But aside from that, the Byzantines are a staple of playing Europa Universalis 4. Not an update goes by without, of course, everybody trying their luck and defeating the Ottomans early on in the game as the Byzantines to re-establish the true hegemony of the Roman Empire. With the addition of the monuments, it does make it a lot more interesting to rush as well for the Mamelukes and other parts of the world, and even might make it interesting to change religion in order to benefit from some of these monuments, which would be something to keep into mind. The Byzantine mission tree is quite extensive and offers both permanent modifiers, such as re-establishing of the Thema system, as well as insanely high amounts of claims pretty much on everything else that the Romans used to own at some point in history. So if you haven't tried playing as the Byzantines yet in EU4 1.31, I highly recommend you do it. You will not regret it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Once we get 1,500 likes, I'm gonna do my leaked information video on the future update for EU4. And guys, do consider subscribing to my channel. It would really mean the world to me and help me out so much, as well as encourage me to make more videos such as this. And I also want to give a very big thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you so much, guys, for all the support you've been offering me. I wouldn't be here without you right now. If anybody else wants to become a patron or a channel member, you can check the links in the description. So until the next one, have a great day, everybody.